Hey everyone, it's Sara Oblak Speicher here. So this morning one of my daughters asked me a really interesting question, and I've been scrolling here through the feed for the past 10 minutes trying to just, collect my mind to see how to convey this message and the answer I gave to her, and then the overall umbrella observation as of what's going on with so many powerful women today, and how we are holding on to those old stories. So the question that my daughter asked me was, Mommy, what was your favorite story when you were a little kid? What were some of your favorite books? And I really had to think about it, because a lot of the books, a lot of the stories that I was surrounded with were not necessarily those fairy tales, even though we had a lot of Hans Christian Andersen and Brothers Grimm stories. I was surrounded also by folktales. And there was this common denominator. It wasn't always the damsel in distress that needed to be rescued by a prince, but there were folk tales. And one of the common threads was that if there was a woman, she either was, there was some love story, and things got entangled. She was accused of witchcrafting and was left for dead, and she was rescued by a guy who loved her. So he saved her life. Another one that really stuck with me as something, it was really something odd about it, was the one who, a story where there was a young girl, but she desired a suitor that was nice and handsome and kind and rich. Well, that was frowned upon. In that story, she is seduced and kidnapped and ultimately drowned by a man who feels that her standards are just too vain, too high, and that is, there's no place in society for somebody like her. Another story that really stuck with me for many years was a folk story of sisters, and two older sisters they wanted to live a life. Instead of poverty, they wanted abundance. They wanted to marry rich. They fancied jewels. They fancied gold. They fancied rich life. And instead, they were cursed with abusive husbands. The younger one, she settled for poverty. She always said, I don't want money, I don't want any of that, I just want to find a true love. And she lived happily ever after in severe poverty, but she was happily in love. And then there was this story, actually a children's movie was made out of that story that gave me nightmares for many years. There was this woman that everybody was afraid of. She was this wild woman. Just looking at her would give you nightmares. But yet she was she was a healer. She was a herbalist, and she had the knowledge of how to live in sync with nature, how to use natural gifts for healing, for treating sickness and stuff like that. But she was portrayed as this villain. So it really got me thinking when I was answering this to my daughter about all these stories. Like, well, no wonder, from my own personal experience, and I know many women that I get to work with feel the same. For not just were those stories told to us to the fact that we internalize them, just looking around in society, if you had some sort of gifts, chances were that you were shamed for them, or you were told even by your parents, hey, tone it down because people are going to laugh at you, they won't understand you, it's too dangerous. People were marginalized or ostracized for being different, and all the differences were labeled as something less than, as opposed to being recognized as this unique gift. It's that only this one person could bring forth. So as a result, when I'm having conversations with so many powerful women, and I have been there myself, that's why it really resonates and I can recognize it without it being said. It's fear of our own powers. after being told for so many years, so many decades, that for who we are too much, that we need to tone it down, we need to hold ourselves back. Yes, of course, we're going to tone down and we're going to hold ourselves back. The problem then becomes when we create this gap and we try to overcompensate for it. And then in this overcompensation, we are spinning in circles and recreating the whole reality that just doesn't fit us anymore. And the downward spiral is getting deeper and deeper and deeper, and the highs are high and the lows are getting lower, because we're so out of balance, we're so out of sync, we're so out of the alignment, we're so out of the congruency. So one of the ways, and that in itself can then be a conversation for a whole other time, but one of the ways to start changing that is to recognize where the stories are, de-story them, and literally start destroying those old stories and reimagine new ones, redefine, redesign, recreate new ones. So ultimately what we then do is, instead of living in a day by day, take it step by step, waiting for this one day when something happens that will make us feel good, that will make us feel empowered, that will make us feel good enough, that will make us feel that we are deserving of whatever it is that we desire. When we create this new vision and we embody knowing that it's already there, and we create this new blueprint and we act as if it's already so, then this whole energetic shift happens and we start attracting a whole different reality. We start creating a whole different reality. Somebody posted this morning, they said, the word react and create are made out of same letters, but they create very different way of living. So, like I said, when we recognize that all these stories have been layered and compounded over the years, and they are literally affecting every single aspect of our life, every single aspect of our work, every single aspect of our relationships, maybe they're showing up more explicitly in one area and we suppress them in the other, or we're thriving in one area and we're struggling in the other. Chances are that there are going to be stories there for you to really be with, reflect on them, and then see what could a different way of life be? What could a different way of living, of creating, of leading, of making an impact, of serving be? And then just remember that you become that version who already carries all those visions out. You become this person first, on cellular level, on mental level, on emotional level, on spiritual level. You become first, and then everything else will fall into place. So, like I said, I wanted to share this with you because the question that my daughter asked me was seemingly super simple, but it opened so much. And I hope this resonates with you. And if you have any questions, please do let me know. That's so much that we can talk about in so many different directions, and I'm here to support you. Sending you much love, and talk to you soon.